everyone, my name is Steve Killingsworth. I'm an investor here in Michigan, and today we're going to talk about self-storage, budget, and forecasting, and why it's important you need to have a budget if you're going to operate a self-storage, and it's important to know the components of that budget. So let's go ahead and get started. Excuse me. Step one is to break down your revenue sources. You start with your rent, retail sales, tenant protection, administration fees like late fees, admin fee when you set up a new customer. Hopefully, if you're when someone signs a new lease, you're going to hit them with a $20 admin fee just to kind of cover your costs of setting up that lease. Then also your miscellaneous revenue sources like trucks, any type of add-ons, anything like that that doesn't fall into one of these categories. Okay. Step two, you need to identify your expenses and lump those into the appropriate bucket. And you're going to come across taxes, insurance, you have your advertising, payroll, utilities, the internet, your website, your phone, credit card, landscaping, administration. You'd be surprised how many deals I look at and there's nothing in here for administration. People think that just because it's a manless facility or it's contactless that you're not going to have any administration. Administration counts for accounting, legal, auctions if you have to get someone to clean out their units, then it goes to auction. So there's all kinds of things that fall under an admin that I've looked at many deals and you do not see, sometimes you don't see administration fees in some of these deals. Website, and then you need maintenance. I've looked at a lot of deals too, and they said, well, we didn't have maintenance. Well, that doesn't mean that the maintenance expense wasn't incurred, right? Like it may not have been paid out, but definitely the property is deteriorated during the year, and there's things that if we're not done in the prior year, will need to be done in the current year. And it's important to note that you need all this information on a square foot basis, and to get an idea of how your property is performing. The self-storage expense guidebook will break down by region the expense per square foot for a facility, so you have a pretty good idea of what the expense ratio should be. And ideally, depending on the size of the property, you're looking at an expense ratio of 35 to 40%. Anything less than that, it's going to be really hard to properly manage the property and to get it to perform the way it needs to. So tip number one, when you're trying to set your budget, so I usually, it's a good idea to start with your curb appeal. People pull up to your store, they're going to want to see a nice facility. They're going to make an impression on the first thing they see when they come up to your facility. So start there. Is the landscaping done? How does the sign look? Is the building clean? What needs to be done out front to make it more appealing? Tip number two is you have to stay on top of the maintenance. You need to have a maintenance schedule. Things like need to have maintenance on the gates, the doors, lights. How does the pavement look? Right here in Michigan, the winter months tear up the pavement. There's potholes, everything like that. So you need to have a budget for the maintenance and have a regular schedule of when to perform that maintenance. Tip number three, this is one that's very important that often goes overlooked, is marketing and advertising. I look at a lot of pro formas and things, and they don't have hardly any money for marketing advertising. They can say, well, I'm at 90%, I don't need to have marketing. No, that's not true. You need to have marketing all the time so people are aware of your facility. You need new customers coming in and renting out units. From what I've read, numerous sources, $1,000 a month for 40,000 square foot. That's what you should budget for your advertising and marketing. Now, if you can't afford that, then it's time to get creative. You're going to have to get really creative with your marketing if you have a tight budget. You're going to want to host events, like fundraising, trick-or-treat events, anything in the community to get people to come to your facility. You're going to have to step up that level of community engagement if you don't have the $1,000 a month for the budget. Also, it's well-known studies have shown that budgeting and planning drives premium prices. You have to know where your money's going, where it's being spent, and that's going to increase your overall profitability of your facility. That's all I have for you now. Next, we're going to talk about having a reserve fund to pay for unexpected expenses and repairs that come up. That's all I have for you today. We'll talk to you next time, and go blue.